What's your favorite interview question to ask any candidate?
Tell me something about yours.
What's one skill you think every HR professional should have? Hi everyone, welcome to this new episode of podcast series which is called Tallect Talks. And this is basically about very interesting and informative, insightful conversations with experienced HR professionals, particularly on topics which are revolving around total rewards. And today we have a very special guest with us on the couch. His name is Babu Vittal, and he is heading HR for RTP Global. Welcome, Babu. How did you get into HR? Because I believe you are somebody who was initially an engineer, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Tried giving it a shot in engineering, but that did not work out. Very, very short stint. Realized probably the calling is in HR. It's been a long journey so far. Quick snapshot, probably talk about my career in 3 phases. The first phase is about a decade, exactly doing the things you're not supposed to do as an HR professional. That's how you start. Be super rigid with what you built in, fall in love with the policies you create, ensure that nobody understands what you're talking, so on and so forth. That was the first 10 years. Then got an opportunity to turn the tables and start being at the other side of the table as a manager. That was the second phase. Probably learnt a little bit there. The third and the current phase, what I'm going through, started in 2012-13. Been in the startup ecosystem since then. It's been a fascinating journey so far, where you get to see a lot of things. What you create dies in about 3 to 4 months time frame, so you need to recreate what you're working on. That's what is keeping me going. This phase is an interesting phase. Not too sure what will be the next phase. So that's me.
Okay. That's really, really interesting to know, Babu. Talk about your career, these 3 phases. Which one you like the most and why?
Oh, the current one.
Okay.
Obviously. Why? Not too sure. Probably it's more comfortable wardrobe, I would say, to start with. That's one. Two is life is very, very different in a startup ecosystem. Started with an organization many people haven't heard about during those days. Even when the recruiter called me saying that, hey, I have an opportunity, would you like to explore? I was trying to Google to find out what is Flipkart, right? So that's where it all started. But right from then on, the pace at which things move on, right? The pace at which you can take decisions, the pace at which you could approach the team members, you could approach your leadership team, talk to them, give the logic and be done with it. Don't worry about making a 30-40 page presentation. That's what is most exciting here in this specific case.
Right. Okay. When you're talking about the pace part of it, and we are living in that era now, that environment which is absolutely very fast. It's changing by the minute. The technology is every day getting into that direction, which is upgraded to the level of now we are in generative AI environment. What are your 3 pieces of advice to the younger HR professionals to keep themselves updated so they are able to match up to this space?
I mean, don't isolate me. I'm also part of the generation. What I'm looking at is, it's very simple, basics. Be very, very clear on what you're operating on. There are certain things where you cannot, if I may use the phrase, screw up, where you need to be super solid on what you're working on. So that's one thing which you need to be super clear what you're working on. The conceptual understanding is where I'm getting at. That's one. 2, if you can understand and figure out what your organization is working towards. What happens typically as an HR professional is you just move into the last cubicle in the office, start putting your head down and thinking about certain rudimentary things, the way in which the organization can move on. Think about policies, of course, that's important. Think about managing leaves, that's very important. Think about managing, say, component. Think about hiring the next great engineer for the organization. Yes, perfect. All of that is needed. But what's more important than that is understanding what your organization is working on, where the money is coming from, where the money is going to, why somebody is paying money for you, what is that critical thing which differentiates your organization. I would not glorify and call it as the vision of the organization. Vision is just a statement, the first page of your website. Probably just go deeper and understand what your org is working on. So the first one is be super strong on your concepts. Two, I would say just clearly understand what your organization is working on. And the third one is probably look after yourself. When you sit down by end of the year and write a one pager about your achievements in the last 1 year, if you're able to cross one page, then probably you've done something. If you're cut copy pasting whatever you written in the first paragraph to the second paragraph, then probably you've not done something interesting in the organization. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to relook how the last year went by. I'm not saying you need to look at every 5 years and plan your career. I would say look at every 1 year. If you have contributed substantially to the organization, if you can write things down beyond a page, then I think you should think about continuing there, or then you have to take your choices. These three is what I would say. I don't want to go into listen to probably this podcast or read a specific book. All that, of course, it's a day job. We all will do. But I would say these are the three things.
Right. How did it differ for you as an HR professional working with a large corporate already there in the market for a lot of years versus getting into a space which is trying to really set up things brick by brick? How did your role as an HR professional differ? And how did you really kind of change your the way you approached it and your learnings from it?
Sure. I'll have to think a bit. Let me try. What happens is in a relatively large size organizations or structured organizations, you have a responsibility and you have an authority. The ratio between these two is probably, I would say, 80-20. There's a lot of responsibility on you with very less authority. I'm not pinpointing a specific organization, but in general, that's the way the world operates. Everybody has a say in what you have to do, and everybody has participation in the goals you have to deliver, and the pie is equally divided among multiple stakeholders. In a startup, it took a while for me to understand what happens is that the founder works on probably 2-3 different plates which are completely full. There are a lot many things for the founder to work on. He or she is very happy when they see an individual walking through the door. If there is trust and capability, they just take a portion of the plate and give it to you. That's for you. That's your baby. You have 100% responsibility and 100% authority. It took a while for me to figure that out. It also puts in some amount of fear when you're working on it. But that's the fundamental difference between working in large established organizations where it's a pie. You can easily blame anyone if you're not succeeding. But here you need to take everything if you're not succeeding. You also get everything if you succeed well. I think that's the fundamental difference.
Mm-hmm. If we talk about the transformation which we all are going through in the corporate world, not just particularly startup, there is a need to relook at the way we offer benefits in terms of standard benefits or flex benefits. Now the needs are completely getting changed. The workforce is getting a very healthy mix of all types of generations, if I may call it like 3 or 4, even more than that. Right? So how do we really ensure that we create a work culture at an organization which is keeping in mind this entire aspect of benefits and culture, the way we operate as an organization, already established one startup? It's a mix of everything, right? No more of that environment which used to be the case earlier in our parents' generation, that they would look at a job security. Now these days, nobody really gets into that mode because honestly, we don't know. There are news which come up suddenly that, this particular company, which is in fact a name in the corporate world, is laying off so many people, and the numbers could be quite large, right? So in that kind of environment, which is very, very, if I may call it, ambiguous, or you don't know, even when we have trends and data sets to really read and then, kind of predict what's going to happen, a lot of times it's something which is not at all predictable, right? So in that kind of an environment, what do you think that, is the right approach as an HR professional to create that kind of offering? And I am really interested to know, particularly in benefits.
It's very, very difficult. Don't take this up as a goal. You will not succeed. It's going to be super challenging to put something or conjure something like that. It is a diverse workforce. There are multiple generations who walk in there. There are certain ways in which you can maneuver this, but again, you need to be continuously innovative. There are no longer days where you can come and say, I have an offering, take it, right? Nobody's going to take it. It has to be completely flexible. It has to be multiple options in a basket, which everybody could pick it up, but within a larger framework, right? Within the ethical framework of the organization, within the compliance framework, that's where you need to operate. But inside that basket, if you can give multiple options, a simple thing, right? About 10 years back, when we go and look at, let's say, insurance usage data in an organization, you'd see about 70% were used for parents. And of the 70% used by parents, roughly around 90% more or less would be for the cataract eye surgery. That's about 10, 11 years back. You look at it now, 40 to 50% for parents, but the rest is being used by employees themselves. Where is the money going in? If you dive deeper, there are a lot of answers for you in that specific area. For example, one of the organization a couple of years back, when I saw the data, a lot of money is going into treatment towards fertility. Right? So that's a place where we understand a good benefit program in that specific area can be given as an option. An insurance cover can be given as an option. There are multiple options which can be provided. So, in fact, we as HR professionals, we sit on large data sets. Right from the time somebody walks into the organization, till the time he or she claims their PF from the organization, which is about 3 to 4 months after they leave the company, they leave a lot of breadcrumbs in the form of data within the organization. If you can pull all of that together and start analyzing it in the right sense, there's a lot of offering which you can bring in. There is a list, right? There's about 40, 50, 60 different benefits you could put together. But you can put it together based on your HR brain. You can put it together based on the data what employees leaving at the table. So I think the choice is yours.
It's not disease. In fact, that's how the entire paradigm is shifting. Let's say, for example, something which is a concern and fertility related that has come to your attention, that that's how it has to shift. Now, to do that, you said that there has to be data sets which are supposed to be available. Now, are we really equipped in terms of having the right tools and methodologies being available for us? So like the way the entire transformation is happening at a very fast pace from a technology perspective, but are we as an HR professional getting those kind of technologies developed for us so that we are able to really harness the power of that entire data which we are sitting at? It's a large set of data, so that we are able to really find out some of these very important insights to take decisions which are going to really be in favor of the business. Do you think that we have that kind of a progress happening when it comes to the technologies which are available for HR folks?
So the technology is definitely available. There are lots and lots which are coming in. I mean, you folks are a great example. There are a lot of things coming up. What problems are you trying to solve? When I was actively doing all of this work, right? It's an Excel sheet with countless number of rows and columns. And you tend to make one mistake, you're done with it. That sheet is during performance review times and compensation times, right? That sheet is taken, sliced, diced, given it to multiple managers, collate, come back. It's a nightmare. When you complete your review process and we release your salary, it's a typical 20-30 day time frame, right? You lose all the time in there. But I look at what you guys are trying to do, one part of what you guys are trying to do, that's a great solution available. But the problem, I think, lies somewhere else. The problem is willingness of an organization to invest in HR tech.
Right.
The tech is available there, definitely. A lot of very much interesting solutions are coming up. AI is helping in a very, very big way. I think the ATS side of it is getting resolved big time. I could see a lot of improvements happening in their talent sourcing, that part of the world. I also see a lot happening during an employee career, the DBMS part of it. A lot is happening. The solutions are available. It's the organization's willingness to invest in HR tech, right? It's a double-edged sword. I mean, are you able to convince your management to invest in here? Is your management convinced enough to put that amount of dollars into an HR tech space, right? So that's the conundrum you need to solve for, not the solutions. They're available.
Right. So now, particularly, I would talk about your experience, Babu, because you work with so many startups, unicorns, and you interact with all of these HR or managements of these organizations. What do you think? What really makes them hesitant in terms of investing properly when it comes to the HR technology part of it? What is it which they are not able to really substantiate from a decision perspective that, okay, if we will invest and we will invest properly in HR technology, in fact, it's going to be an ROI, going to be a return for us 4x, 5x, or 10x manner for that matter?
You want a long answer or a short answer?
Long answer.
I'll start with the short one. I think the first one is thinking. We are not sitting and thinking enough about how could we plan the future of the organization beyond those 4 or 5 charts which we prepare on a monthly basis for our town hall meeting or for our management meeting. I think we should go beyond it and start thinking about what really needs to happen inside the organization. It's the fundamental change which need to happen. The second part is asking. We are also not asking. We assume that it will not happen. Right? There could be 1 or 2 bad examples we asked in the past, it did not work out. That's fine. That's fine. All of us make mistakes. Even businesses do a lot of pivots in their journey, right? So as an HR professional, you should not be hesitant about asking for help. I think once we start thinking and once we move ahead and ask in the right direction, the initial inertia is something which we'll be comfortably able to overcome of it. We are not asking.
Right. Okay. Understood. And do you think that when it comes to this particular part of this is way too expensive for us right now, because you can't really see the result immediately. It's something which is going to really make you understand the benefit or the advantage of it later on in the long term. And because of the startup environment, it's more of because you are very cost conscious. You're trying to establish yourself, set up yourself. Do you think it's because of that you kind of don't do these two things, thinking and asking both?
I mean, we're not asking, that's all. I don't think it comes to an issue around cost part of it. I don't think it's come to an issue around we're unable to showcase the future. Most of us have kids, right? We're waiting for 18 years to see what's the final outcome from a kid when the kid hits the school or college, right? So we have patience in waiting. We know that how we could shape future of multiple folks within our family. If we start looking at our organization also as family, we'll definitely be able to think and ask. We know how this will look like. Articulation is a challenge. There are companies who are willing to help you in how you could articulate and take this, whatever is the program or the problem statement, how to solve for it. There are companies who could help you. In fact, what I'm seeing in HR tech space is a lot of partnering which is happening. The other day I was talking to someone. He says that he's willing to give his product free for about a year. And so the person could use the product, explore, understand the benefits, and then if they're happy, go for a subscription. Post that. That's phenomenal, right? Partnering and trusting somebody inside an organization for about 365 days is a long bet.
Right.
There are companies which are willing to take it. So it's not just asking internally, you should ask externally also. The problem would largely be solved. Right? There is something written in my KRA, I'll go ahead and execute, job done. If that's part of some of the geographies and that's part of the culture, maybe. But largely there is willingness to invest, but I don't think we're asking for it. It's very difficult, right? What I would suggest is just be open about in terms of saying I'm experimenting this and we need to invest. I'm sure this is going to improve the life cycle or the experience of anybody who is working with us. So let's go ahead and give it a try. We don't start there, right? We instead start by saying this is going to change everything. An employee who's about to leave in 2 years will only leave after 5 years. We start making a lot of promises which will not stand in the air. So it's better to set the expectation at the beginning, saying, listen, I'm trying, because you are part of the management team. People is the biggest asset any company carries. You definitely carry a lot of weight when you communicate. Just go ahead and be clear enough in terms of saying, let's invest, give it a try for about a year or so. There's no software or a package or a product what you buy is going to ditch you. It's the way you use it, the way you present it, the way you kind of milk the benefits out of it. That's what is going to make the difference. It's okay, just go make a pitch. The founders are used to pitch, just go make a pitch.
Right. I need to be clear about my vision, mission, and the culture which I want to set up. Technology is just one enabler of that. Do you think that's true, or do you think it really does make a lot of difference if you have the right technology in place?
Right technology definitely accelerates the direction which you're traveling, right? We live in a world where technology is probably taking care of most of the things we operate in. And if you turn back and look at the organization, when they go out and talk about it, they also talk about an element of technology, how it's fueling the market, the growth of that specific organization. So if you want to progress on your vision, mission, tech is super critical for you.
I think that is the understanding which we wanted to have, being into the tech space ourselves, because you provide a total rewards platform which is called Tallect, and we really wanted to understand, we call it from the horse's mouth. So thank you for sharing that. How good are you with rapid fire questions?
Let's try.
Let's try. Okay. All right.
Just simply smiling be an answer.
What's your favorite movie or TV show related to work or business?
Nothing.
You don't watch TV series or...
I do watch.
Anything which is related to corporate world or anything related to...
No.
Nothing.
I mean, it's office all the time.
Right.
Why do you go back home and bring office in
Right.
there? So, no.
So, okay, fine. Not related to work, but what's your favorite TV show which you are hooked on currently?
Only Murders in the Building.
Okay.
Disney Hotstar. 3 episodes. I mean, I think 3 seasons done. The 4th one should come in August.
Right. Okay. Next one is, what's one skill you think every HR professional should have?
Talk.
Talk. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I wouldn't box it in communication. I'll just say talk.
Okay. I think I completely agree on that. Absolutely. Okay. What's your favorite quote or mantra that you live by?
Life is easy.
Life is easy. It's just your perspective. Okay. Good one. If you could instantly learn any new skill, what would it be?
I'm into AI. I'm trying to understand what's happening in that space. I also teach in colleges. So I'm trying to figure out if anything which is useful, which I can take it forward and replicate it to a larger audience, I'm okay to pick.
What's the best way to celebrate a big win at work for you?
With the team.
With the team. What's your favorite interview question to ask any candidate?
Starter. Tell me something about yours. But I spend some time going deep into understanding their profile,
right,
and pick up a few things from there and combine that with tell me something about yourself. And
but you're absolutely right. I think that's like a default, even when we know it's a cliched one, but that's how it is. What's the most unusual job title you've ever seen? This is definitely
what the
unusual.
organization did is, I mean, they are into analytics, doing really well, and they got acquired based out of Gurgaon. Just so you can keep whatever title you want. What matters is the sanity on your visiting card, which you're going to show to everybody outside in your ecosystem of relationship and friends. You could have whatever you want. And I know out of 50 people, a couple of them had Prime Minister and one had President.
Superb. I mean, this is the most unusual I've ever heard of, and I think I will ever hear in future also. So that was it. I think that was the last question of the rapid fire. You did pretty well, more than smile, Babu, right?
Sure.
So thank you.
Thanks. I had a great time. Thanks, everyone.